Okay, hey everyone, Five Nights at Freddy's fan 555 here. Welcome to the next BeamView Drive crash testing live stream. Let's see. I don't know if comments are working or not. They should be. Yeah, there we go. Okay. King Ninja Video Maker said hi and said he's got some new awesome team news. Alright. Thanks for coming. So, first off, I hope you guys can all see and hear everything okay. I know the screen's kind of blurred. There's not really much I can do about that. I wish there were, but there's not. But BeamView Drive had a new update not too long ago, like recently. I think it was last week at one point, if I remember right. So I don't know if you guys can tell or not. Probably can't because of being the screen being the way it is. Not much I can do about, but anyways, vehicles now have more of a realistic look to them. The tires on all vehicles have more of a realistic look now. Body metal, windows even as well. Windows for the vehicles, they have more of a shine or sheen to them now. Really similar to what a real life car would. So it looks more realistic now. Something that they did for part of the update is the Ibisu Pigeon. They had upgraded to where now you don't have just the ones with the one tire in the front. You can now have them to where there are four-wheel tire cars. So this is one of them I have spawned in already, for example. And then the other vehicle they had added as part of the update is this vehicle. Forgot what it was called. I'll look right quick in a minute. They've added this to the game. They have them to where they have just the one tire in the front as well. They have them with the 4-tire option also. But that's this vehicle. Go into it. It's got a really amazing detail work to the inside of it, especially with everything looking more realistic now. And I really like it so far. But the name of this vehicle is load in right quick. It is the Ibisu Widgeon vehicle that they have added to the game, or they did had. So I'm gonna go right here, check right quick. Alright. King Ninja Video Maker said so. I just got the first trailer done. It'll be uploaded sometime tomorrow or even next month. For a movie, season 1, post credits, and we'll also have a trailer for first season. Alright, well, I can't wait to see the trailer for that tomorrow if you're able to upload it tomorrow. and if not, I guess I'll get to see it sometime next month. But I can't wait to see the trailer for it. So, if you guys remember where we left off last, is we had left off on, I think it was like a Chinatown map or something like that, and we used one of the flatbed tow trucks to like go over and crash off of. We're not doing that this time. This time, I wanted to do some crash testing with the new, updated, and improved grid map that they have added to the game. You now have different sections in the grid map map for the game. And the area we're at is the destruction section. There's different sections. You can still have the original grid map, but you have to, I think, go to mods to re-download that, since they had updated the original to what it is now. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. I have the game pause. So start out with what we're going to do is we're going to try crashing this vehicle into this barrier type thing that's over here. Well, pretty much almost like a wall almost, but it's fun to crash into. I like crashing into it. Alright, well, we seem to be to have damaged the vehicle after crashing into it bad enough to where we can't drive it anymore. It does still run. It would still be drivable if front axle wasn't damaged, which it looks like it probably might be. Here from driver, camera. Don't know. They probably wouldn't live from that because of where they are positioned at now. Break that one. Now we're gonna crash this into it in this vehicle. First, I'm gonna see if I can maybe reposition the camera a little better. First, K-Ninja Video Maker has some other things he said. Thinking about making real life Lego city out of Ninja David Town, which is called Ninja Spring City. What we call Hero City Metropolis. Sounds pretty cool. Let's see if I can right here. So I have my hand over keyboard for steering. Try to see if I can also move my laptop back a little bit, not too much. Kind of a little bit blurry, but not bad. Alright. Go back right quick and back there. Okay, should be working fine, I hope. I'm not going to be able to do too long of a stream for this one. Unfortunately, wish I could, but might not be able to. It'll be like maybe only about an hour, at least maybe about an hour, if not less. There we go. We have impact. If it weren't for the left front axle now being broken, probably would still be able to drive it, but because that's how we had hit into that, no longer can. It does still run. Drive shaft should probably be broken, but it's not. It's showing over here that it's not, so can kind of still drive it if we were able to, but can't because of that axle. Interior view, passenger area, whatever. Do the pickup truck, but for it, we're gonna crash it into something else. This right here is kind of like a bar or something across here you can crash underneath of, and that's what happens. We tore the cab right off the vehicle, and believe it or not, can still drive it. Only thing damaged was that left front tire. So even though the cab's no longer there, can still drive it. We're just gonna simply, drive it over. It's right here and see what happens. We'll just leave it there, but would still be able to drive it, even though there's not any too bad severe damage underneath. Could still drive it if we wanted to, like that. Cab area though, however, with the driver, that's kind of glitched out a little bit. This is where we ended up. Hood area would be about right here. You can pretty much just look at the engine now if you wanted to. External. So reset. Alright, got everything reset. I'm going to switch into different vehicles. for the load. There we go. Okay. Do the ETK 800 series for this. Do the police car. Try that again. Okay, clicked on vehicles. It's not doing that. Might just be being slow for some reason. We'll give it a minute to load. It might take it. Might take it a little bit. Alright, he's got some voice actors. Some other things. Here goes the final one. Alright, for this, we're going to do the since we haven't used it in a while. We'll just use this one. Move this vehicle. It might help if we do that. I don't know. Manage and move. do this first. What I want to do is do this. Turn on the light bar, and then click it again to turn on the sirens. And there we go. Let me just go back to it to turn off. Alright, no longer runs because we damaged the engine and the drive shaft. And also means it's no longer drivable either. Take a look at it from driver's perspective. Passenger would probably be okay. Driver, on the other hand, they would definitely have injuries, especially because the framing for the door had bent inward from the crash. Crash this. Did the same thing to it as well. Damaged the engine and the drive shaft. Also, now no longer drivable. Well, now the engine is like shown as orange color, so it probably would still run, but it's damaged enough to where it ain't gonna turn back on if you try to. So even then, because the drive shaft being broken, it's not gonna go anywhere because of that. Take a look from inside. Driver would have some injuries, but the passenger, though, the passenger would have the worst of it. Looking at the shape of the door frame now, it's bent itself in during impact, and the passenger's knees would be crushed up against the dashboard here. So that both our legs would most likely not only be broken, but they would also probably be in what would be considered severe to maybe even critical condition because of what we're looking at for the aftermath of it for there. So that's if they are to live from that. And yeah, we did break the sunroof. Forgot it even had sunroof, to be honest. It's been a while. Reset it. Okay. how about we change this to Charger FCV? This would be basically considered a hybrid car, I guess, especially because of how fast it goes. It speeds up pretty quick. We're going to use this red one, I think. Hirachi Sunburst will change out with one of the older cars. The one I'm thinking of doing is the Berkelman Hawk. We'll use it. We're just going to go with the one we have. Check here again. Alright. King Ninja Video Maker said some other things. Alright, he said he's gonna probably post some of the voice acting videos probably tomorrow, most likely. So we're gonna use this now. There we go. It does still run. Just no longer can drive it. And because of how damaged it is, for where a passenger would be, they probably would not have survived this particular crash. Yeah, the passenger definitely probably would not have survived this type of crash in this vehicle. Driver, they maybe could or would. It really just depends on their injuries as well. This speeds up pretty quick because of it, I guess, being hybrid. I think this is a hybrid. This particular vehicle we're using, I'm not sure. Alright, right away, as we hit it into that barrier, we not only broke the drive shaft, also damaged the engine. So I think it was like just a regular car, I think. So the one I was thinking about, it's a different one. Almost the whole roof of it is a sunroof, it looks like, which had shattered on impact. Take a look underneath. Get a interior view. Driver would probably have maybe, minor to severe injuries. Probably passenger though, because the door frame had caved in inwards like it did. They would have probably severe to critical type of injuries, or maybe not even live from this too. So reset it. We'll do the one that I know is the hybrid, or should be. First reset both of these. Change it to the hybrid. Right click. I think it's this one. It should be. Let's see if it says it is. Doesn't say it is. I think it is. I just don't really remember. Well, no, when we look at it. Hybrid vehicles do have like regular engines, though, by the way. So that if you don't want to use the hybrid part of it, you can also use the regular gasoline and engine part of it if you wanted to. I know this is usually pretty quick one. And the speed. This might not be it either. It don't look like it is, because normally it speed up a lot quicker than that. So I don't think this is it either, to be honest. Crashed it pretty much just about head on into there. We'll reset it. One of them was the hybrid, or what I think is, but I'm not sure. Might have been this one. It doesn't say if it is either. We'll find out. They very well could have just, whatever reason, done away with it as part of the new update. don't know why they would have done that, but they very well could have. This looks like it's it, but we'll find out. Similar, but doesn't really exactly sound like it is or not. It is fast though. It is pretty much almost a race car, pretty much anyway. So, anyways, we damaged it bad enough to where we can't drive it again. Yeah, I hope it does that. Shock on that side is just swinging back and forth apparently. Guess because of how bad the wreck was. Ooh, yeah. Where the tire now is and the dashboard would mean the passenger, yeah, they probably wouldn't survive this. Driver, they probably wouldn't either, depending on their injuries. So, many times. Do this again, except this time we're gonna take it in a different direction. We're taking it through this right here. Let's see what happens. Oh, wow. Just doing that apparently damaged it enough to where if we were to stop, the engine will probably shut off because it's showing that the engine is like damaged and the drive shaft. So right, now it should definitely say it's no longer. Now it should no longer be where you can drive it. Yeah. Yeah. Even though the engine is lit up in red now, it's apparently is apparently still running because this is still lit up. Just can't drive it anymore now because now the drive shaft definitely is broken because it's also not there anymore either. So the cab part of it, the body of it, looks to be over here. Let's see if we can try to get an interior view. Sort of, kind of can. Um, both driver and passenger in this situation, I would say, would probably definitely would not have lived from that. Probably nobody, no one at all, to be honest. You set it and send it through there as well. See how much worse it can be for this if we send it through there. Especially since it seems to go a lot faster. Around about 105 miles an hour. That definitely did quite a bit of damage. Enough to immediately break the engine. Not only that, the engine is also now missing. So the engine apparently had uh, ripped itself out and flew out somewhere. And to be honest, that's probably it right there. So, yeah, the front window shield stretched itself out, which in real life it wouldn't do that. It'd just break. Definitely no longer drivable. driver, it looks like, yeah, the driver would have pretty much died instantly on impact. Passenger probably as well, because the roof would have been crushed down and inwards onto them, so they would have made it from that. Don't know about anyone in the back seat either. They probably wouldn't either. At least I think so. Oops, wrong button. I'm gonna go back to it to reset. Change it out with the Gravel B series, because that's what I want to use. Except the only difference is the one in particular we're going to use is this oversized load one. It's got 3 rear axles, 2 front axles, which both turn to steer. It's a pretty big truck. And just to show you, those 2 front axles do steer. There we go. And it has, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different differential. It has 7 different differential gear shiftings, and it has 1 more for the front drive shaft disconnect gear. For if you wanted to or need to. Only problem with it is it doesn't really speed up as quick. It does speed up slightly quicker than the Gravel T series of semi trucks. It's just that the Gravel B series of Gravel of semi trucks, some of them are a lot bigger and take just slightly longer to speed up sometimes. Not as bad, but it still do pretty good. Alright, we hit in there pretty good. And broke the drive shaft. Broke the main drive shaft. It's got because of the 3 axles in the rear, it has a total of 3 drive shafts. It has the main drive shaft that comes from the engine, which is longer, and then a short one here, and then another short one here. So, and it's also got a longer one for here in the front, which is the one we broke. So altogether, really, it has a total of 3, 4, 5. Total of around 4 to 5 drive shafts. quite a bit of them for just one vehicle like this. But anyways, let's see if we can get a look at it from the interior, from where the driver would be. Surprisingly, the driver and passenger look like they would probably survive with only little to minor injuries, probably. Uh, which would also depend on if there's any airbags or not. So, it really just depend on that. Now, this time, pretty much just going to floor it until we get up to pretty good speed, not crash into that barrier again. We're going to crash into one of these structures there in the distance, way further away from it. Right now, we're starting out kind of slow at around almost 40 miles an hour. Now heading past 45 to around 50 miles an hour. Now at around 60. Now almost 70. Almost 80 miles an hour now. Now almost 90 miles an hour, so we're getting up to speed pretty fast now. Now almost 100 miles an hour. And we hit that wall at around 105-ish to 110 miles an hour. That's how fast it can go up to whenever you're going to crash into something at a distance like that. But we hit that so hard enough to where the whole chassis or frame of the vehicle had literally bent itself in half and like folded itself in half pretty much because of the force of all that force of impact, which I think, to be honest, was pretty cool that we were able to get it to do that. Don't think I've ever been able to get it to do that, but we did. So now that we have it sort of standing up straight, now I can kind of get a little bit better look at it to see how it did that now. Because it did that, the cab had broken itself off of there. The cab area for the sleeper part of it almost did as well, still hanging on a little bit. Engine damaged, no longer runs, drive shaft broken. Engine is still surprisingly somehow still in there, even though the front of it is supposed to be facing towards the ground. It had twisted and torn itself out of there to where the transmission is sticking out of it from where the top of the hood would be. And the cab is laying here behind it. So let's see if we can get an interior view in there. Well, we kind of can, but not really. Let's see if I can maybe try to carefully flip it back over and upright it. Without accidentally, throwing it somewhere far away from us. Don't want to do that. All right. Now we can maybe get a little bit better look at it. not much, but some. Um, to be honest, even though it's not like crushed really badly, they probably wouldn't have survived this because of how it had folded itself together like it did. So more likely they wouldn't have survived that. We're gonna reset it now, and we're going to replace it with the Gravel T-Series one next this time. Except that the one we're going to use is going to be the concrete mixer. Let's see what we can get to happen to B series. But first, before we're going to change out this vehicle, something else as well. We'll do the gravel D series pickup trucks. So we're not using just a regular pickup truck. We're going to use the Super Pig version of it. Which I kind of really like, to be honest. Check for any more comments real quick. Not any more comments right now, but anyways, if anyone else is watching, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to give you a shout out during the stream. So we're gonna have to finish up the stream pretty soon, at least a few more minutes or so. Crash test this vehicle by driving it not into this barrier here, but way past it. These structures here are next to the one over here in the distance. And we gotta go like kind of this way because there's kind of like a river type thing or water thing here that for a different area of the updated map that's been put in. And before we crash it into one of these, I'm gonna pause it to put it in slow motion. It looks like we're going to end up hitting it at pretty close to 100 miles an hour for this vehicle. So slow simulation speed 100 times and play. still moving pretty quickly, even though we have it slowed down to 100 times in simulation speed. And we got pretty much head-on impact there. Put it back to regular normal simulation speed. And the aftermath of that is still runs. We're going to turn the engine off so that it doesn't starve itself of oil. Engine oil, though, however, is critically low because of the damage done to it already from that massive impact we just did. Turn engine back on. It looks like drive shaft is broken. Yeah, drive shaft is broken because it will no longer go anywhere. So after doing that, we broke the drive shaft. And to be honest, I'm really surprised that the engine is even still running because it's been shoved towards the back a little bit. Not much, but enough to where it should have damaged it. And because it's got kind of like a roll cage in here in it, the driver and passenger look like they'd probably be okay. Maybe low to, minor injuries. Especially because the roll cage did help protect from that. Though, if you look right here, it did bend the framing of it some, though. So, and the engine had shut itself off because of it already being low on engine oil, I think. Even though it's shown over here on the gauge, it still has oil in it. It shut itself off from already being damaged pretty badly. So now we're going to reset it so we can get out of the way of the concrete truck. Just going to take a little bit to speed up. It has a total of only 3 drive shafts. Pretty much like a normal semi-truck would have, or regular one at least. We have the main drive shaft for on the front, which goes to the first rear axle, and a smaller, shorter one that goes to the second rear axle, which is this one here in the very back. And since it's got 3 drive shafts, that was actually only 2 I had said, so since this has 3, that means it's, I think, well, another axle probably for there in the rear. It's got 3, I think. Looks like we're almost up to 70 miles an hour. Not gonna hit as fast, but fast enough to do a good amount of damage at least. So around about 75 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour is what we're gonna hit at. So yeah, it's got 2 rear axles. So right here's the main drive shaft. And then you got the smaller and shorter drive shaft here for the other rear axle. So, see the third one is actually for the transfer case, which is right here just for the first rear axle. and then it goes to the other one as well. What the transfer case does is it helps to keep the engine torque from the transmission in it to put in all the rear axles, in which cases both of them. So that's what that's for, or how that would work, pretty much. Well, that's part of it, not all of it, but it's part of how it works. Just for an example, put the simulation speed to 100 times, slow it down to that much, and then play. Kind of going a lot slower in simulation speed than the gravel B series semi trucks. And yeah, it looks like we're going to hit pretty close at around 75 miles an hour into there. Why would we crash into it? This here for concrete mixer part of it, it has nowhere to go. So what it's going to do, since it's still in motion, is it's going to literally crush itself into the cab, which it just did, and lifting the rear end of the whole thing up and into the air, which not only damages and breaks everything for turning and mixing the concrete, it also bends and damages the framing of the whole truck as well, especially because of how fast into that we were going at. So now that we're going to put it back to real-time simulation speed, we had it pretty much, we got it pretty much standing just about straight up and down because of the force of the impact. Engine is sticking out like this now, meaning the drive shaft is broken. Engine no longer runs either, and this had fallen off from the impact, which we're just going to take and toss out of the way. One of those step things had broken off as well. We're going to toss that stuff out of the way, because what we're going to do is we're going to take it and put it back down on what remains of its tires and axles after the crash. Now that we have it sitting back down on all its tires, this axle is no longer on the ground because of the framing being bent because of that. And like I had said, this whole thing crushed itself into the cab area. So if that weren't there, the driver or passenger maybe would live, but because of that, they very little room inside of there. If you can see it, there's very little room inside of there now of survival space, if not any at all. So they would have literally been crushed to death because of that. So they would have died pretty much almost instantly upon impact. At least maybe a few seconds or so, or even milliseconds. It'd probably be more like milliseconds, because that's pretty much really all it takes during a real life car accident. It takes literally just a few milliseconds or so, and then the crash is over. And that's pretty much it. But anyways, we'll reset it. I'm going to do one more vehicle now. That's going to be going back to the gravel B series semi truck, and you'll see why we're going back to that here in a minute. So, reason why we're going back to it is because the very first one that you have after going to it is you have a all-wheel drive crawler or racing version of it, which has just one axle in the front and one rear axle. It's pretty much basically a racing truck version of it. The gravel T series, though, you don't have that. It is due for the B series, and because it only has the two axles, one in the front, one in the rear, it only has three. Uh, it only has but um, 2 to 1 drive shaft. So transfer cases here for in there, which would be kind of like the third drive shaft, but it's not. Got the main drive shaft, which is here in the front, which is for the front axle, and because of it being on the all-wheel drive vehicle, it has to have that. And of course, you have the other one, which is for the rear axle. Then you got the front drive shaft disconnect gear for the front drive shaft, and then you have the differential gear for front differential, which is for front axle, and then this one for the third or middle is for gears for the rear axle, and then the other one is for the transfer case. And then you got kind of like a roll cage here on it. This is a little bit faster speed. As soon as you start to floor it, it already starts to speed up almost pretty quickly. As we're starting to get closer to this barrier here where we're crashing into, it's already up to around about 60 miles an hour now. Going past these water river cut things, it's now up to almost 80 miles an hour. And as we're getting closer to this, we're already almost at 90 miles an hour. So it's looking like we're going to have crashed into here at around 90, maybe even 93, 94 miles per hour. So pretty fast. Faster, almost a little faster than the gravel T series concrete truck, and not anywhere close to the oversized load B series semi truck, since we had gotten up to almost 105, if I remember right. So slow simulation speed down to 100 times. Let it keep going. It's almost there. It looks like we're going to actually have impact at around 91 to 92 miles an hour. So I saw it briefly go to 92 miles per hour right before it hit. I'll put simulation speed back to normal. And now that the crash is over, I'm done with engine, drive shaft damaged. So no longer drivable. Let's see if we can get an interior view. Don't look like we're going to be able to because of how it happens. So I'm going to have to kind of look in there from here. So it looks like they probably wouldn't have survived from that. They probably wouldn't. Because of the dashboard being crushed inward onto where their knees or legs would be. So they might not would have survived from that. I don't really know. Just sort of guessing so. But anyways, that would be pretty much it for this BeamView Drive live stream. So hope you guys have, of course, enjoyed it so far. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And let's see, my next, what will be probably my next Lego Jurassic World gameplay video will be probably not tomorrow. Maybe sometime Friday. Not sure if I'll be able to do it Friday or not, but I'll try to. If I'm not able to do it Friday, it'll be sometime Saturday. And then my next new Minecraft city building video will be probably sometime next week. If not, maybe Friday instead, or Saturday, I guess it depends on which one I want to, do first. But anyways, I finally did kind of like a tour video of what our house looks like on the inside, instead of just, seeing my room, or me and my brother's room all the time. For the past almost 5 years now, I finally did a kind of like a tour video of our house. None of the outside, because of safety reasons. Don't want anything, bad to happen, like somebody, like come stalking us or something like that. So I'm not gonna go out and show around the outside of the house. Though there is some videos in the past I've done where you can see parts of the outside of our house, but not all of it. So that's pretty much all of it you'll probably ever get to see. Maybe some in future as well. At some point in future videos, probably, but I don't really know. But anyways, I finally did that video. I did it on my phone. Because I did it on my phone, it's split up into 3 separate parts. It's gonna be split up in 3-part videos for that video whenever I do upload it. I gotta upload part 1 for it, which I'll have set on private when I do upload it, and that's so that I can go through it and edit it before I set it to be in public. So that's how I edit a lot of my regular videos like that, is I'll upload it to being set on private first, and then I'll go through, edit it, and then I'll set it to public after I'm done editing it. Or I'll set it to Premiere, like I do for my toy destruction videos. Which, speaking of which, by the way, part 2 of my 4th toy destruction video, part 2 of that video is almost finished. I have it partially finished part of the editing process of that video. I just got to add in the music for in that video now, and it'll be ready to premiere for you guys to see. So whenever I do finally do premiere, just keep an eye out for it if you guys want to see it. And after that will be probably when I'll upload the tour video of our house, or tour videos of our house, which are 3-part videos, like I said before. And either sometime after that or even between, I will probably sometime soon make the next toy destruction video, which will be the 5th that I'll be doing. What it's going to be, however, I'm not sure yet. Probably going to be some more stuff, I'm going to burn that I've kept, and some of which I've already kind of partially also destroyed as well. So it's going to sort of depend on that, I guess, or whatever. But anyways, one other thing before I end the stream for this BeamView Drive video is probably sometime tomorrow, being Thursday, I'm going to hopefully be able to go see the new Space Jam movie, or I'm hoping I'll be able to go see it tomorrow. Can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be pretty good. Don't know if any of you guys have seen it yet or not. Let me know what you guys thought about it too, if you want. So, anyways, until either sometime Friday or Saturday, depending on which new live stream video I do, we'll see you then. So, of course, for now, thank you all for watching the stream for this time. Done almost 30 BeamView Drive crash testing videos now. Almost 5 years worth now. Can't believe it's taken that long to do almost 30 videos worth. Normally, it probably wouldn't, but there's things that happened in the past, things I had to do, or was busy, or just wasn't able to, or even forgot to do so. But anyways, hope y'all enjoyed it, and of course, if you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you click on the notification bell, and click all, so that you'll be notified for all new videos that I upload. So until either Friday or Saturday, I will see you guys then. So thank you all for